Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Medicare supplement world, so stay tuned. My name is Cbudenz. I'm an independent Medicare health insurance broker. I work in many different states. Doesn't cost you anything to use me, no obligation. I'm here to help. But today we're going to be talking about what to look for when choosing your Medicare supplement company or carrier. We hear a lot in the news about Medicare supplements are going up a crazy amount, and they are. So I'm going to try and give you guys a few nuggets of information on how to properly choose your Medicare supplement carrier. Now, I will say as a disclaimer up front that just because you go through all of these steps doesn't mean you will not have a rate increase. It's impossible to determine if a policy is going to increase or not, by how much. So these are just a couple good things to keep in mind when looking at insurance carriers, whether you're turning 65 or you're past 65 and coming off and getting on Medicare. These are just some good things to keep in mind. So the first one is going to be something we call the loss ratio. And every carrier is going to have this loss ratio, which is basically how much money are they losing. And you'll see a percentage. If you look online, you should be able to find it. If not, you can reach out to me and you'll be able to see the loss ratio for these companies. And based on that loss ratio, kind of tells you how are they doing as a company. Are they losing a lot of money? What's the trajectory potential for this carrier? So that's a first one that you can look at. The kind of determine what's this company doing, right? Are they losing a lot of money? What's the financial situation with this carrier? So that's a first and easy one to look at. The second one that you can look at is past rate increases. Now, as I said in the beginning, this is, it's good to have the history of these carriers, but just because an insurance carrier had a big rate increase last year doesn't mean that they're going to have one next year. So it is hard to tell, but it kind of can give you an idea when you look at the rate increase history of certain carriers. You can see, oh my gosh, you can see this trend of them just keep going and going and going up. And maybe you'll see a company that doesn't have much of a rate increase. And there might be some reasons for that, which we'll talk about on the next tip. But looking at the premium rate increase percentage from year to year with different carriers is definitely a good place to start. The last one that I think is pretty important, and this is all you're really going to need to know. Listen, you don't need to be getting all to the analytical data, and you don't need to spend hours and hours doing research. These are just things to keep in mind. The last one is going to be the size of the company, right? How much premium are they collecting? How many members do they insure? These are all important things, right? Because we have a lot of Medicare supplement carriers that might come in and they're the lowest cost, right? But they've only been in the market for 2, 3, 4 years. So they don't have enough history to determine what the stability of that plan is going to be or that carrier is going to be. So it's important. You might look and say, oh, well, they only had a 3% rate increase last year, but that's like their second year in the market. So you don't have enough data on that company versus some of the big name companies. You can look back at the rate increase history. You can see the loss ratio. You can see how big their book of business is. So those are some things that you want to keep in mind. And the last one that I'll throw out to you is that's very important is not just buying a Medicare supplement plan or a carrier based on the lowest cost right away. There's going to be a lot of carriers that you're probably you've never heard of that are going to be a lot less expensive than some of your mainstream insurance companies. And just because they're low now doesn't mean in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years that they're still going to be the lowest cost. So it's important that you don't want to just base it on premium. While premium's important and you want to make sure you're fitting that around your budget, you definitely don't want to just go with the lowest premium. You want to make sure you go through at least some of those steps that I gave you to kind of get an idea, and then use your best judgment. Have someone like myself help you. But as always, there's no guarantee on what's coming next year. So having some of these points to look at can kind of point you in the right direction, maybe narrow down a few carriers and take it from there. So I hope this video helped you guys kind of determine a few things that you should be looking at. So if you guys have questions, please let me know as always. And reach out to me if you're turning 65 and you need help. You don't know where to go. You don't know if Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement's the way to go. How do I pick my Medicare Supplement carrier? I know you gave me all this information, but I still don't want to make the wrong decision. Do I go with Plan G, Plan N? You're going to have what about prescriptions, right? You're going to have a whole lot of questions. And if you want to use me with no extra costs, please reach out. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week.